I'm the author of the Happiness in Your Life book series. I've got with me the books that are available now from the book series, as well as a couple others that I have written. If you are seeing me live, please feel free to say hello. And if not, I'm just going to start reading. I've got the books with me here. They are, Karma is book 1. Book 2 is Intuition. Book 3 is Forgiveness. Book 4 is Trust. Book 5 is Appreciation. So I'm going to start with Karma. And I'm just going to pick any random old page and see where we are. All right. This is page 92. And what the Karma book is, has the 12 laws of karma. And then it has karma of judgment and karma in relationships. So this is actually just the start of law 9, which is the law of be here now. This law states you can't go home again, but you must try. I'll just actually start reading from the beginning of the chapter because that might make a lot more sense. This law states you can't go home again, but you must try. Home does not mean that little apartment you grew up in on the east side. Home actually means your emotional home. The starting point when we are children and we trusted fully, loved freely, and believed everyone was good. We all began life as precious, innocent little beings. Some of us were bombarded with negativity at an early age in our homes. Some were bullied at school by other kids. Some dated people who were just plain mean. As we grow older, we have many good experiences, but many bad ones too. This is what Buddha referred to as suffering. We go from being innocent to having these experiences. We can then go one of two ways: experienced or bitter. Bitter is another term for a person who emphasizes the bad experiences in their life and past relationships and carries them around like emotional baggage. Holding on to negative experiences from the past brings them into the present. By keeping these bad experiences alive, you'll be asking for more of the same. You may end up dating people who are exactly like your mother or father were to you when you were a child. Children of alcoholics often marry alcoholics. Reliving and dwelling on the negatives of the past and wondering what would have happened if things were different prevents you from moving forward with your life. It prevents you from appreciating what you have now and what you can have in the future. Conversely, pretending the negatives of the past didn't exist or burying them without a thought can lead you to make the same mistakes over and over again without ever realizing why. Reflection on the negatives of the past is necessary because being removed from them allows you to have a different, more unbiased and mature view of everything that has happened. You can see what was completely out of your control, but more importantly, you can see what actually was in your control, even if you didn't realize it at the time. You can then see which choices to make now and in the future to avoid recreating those same experiences in your life. Doing this also allows you to make peace with those events, knowing that they are truly over, and that they were only a painful lesson that you've now learned and are free from ever to having to repeat again. So that was from Karma. And next, we're going to do Intuition. All right. I don't know where we're jumping in. I'm just picking a page. For most people, it's really not advisable to become so focused on what other people are thinking or feeling because it takes your attention away from your own awareness and your own feelings. If a person's intentions towards you are bad, you don't have to pay attention to them to figure out exactly what they are in order to protect yourself. If you're paying attention to your own feelings, those will tell you much louder and more clearly that something isn't right. Ultimately, your intuition is for you, your life, and to guide you through it. Respect other people and their own free will, and recognize that they too have been given intuition and can choose to use it or not to guide their lives. You may have ideas, thoughts, or whole plans in your mind for how they should live their life and decisions they should make, and you may be 100% right. But just as you want to be in control of your own life, loving them and respecting them means allowing them to be in control of their own life too. Even if they trust your opinion, even if they believe in your intuition more than their own. The best you can do for them is to encourage them to get quiet and discover and develop their own inner voice and listen to it. They may even come to the same decisions and choices that you thought were best for them. But if they don't, it's not your place to correct their path. We all learn at different paces. Confidence and discernment are only developed by making one's own decisions using their own free will with no outer pressure. This can be really difficult with adult children, but ultimately remember that it's not your job to drive their life. It was your job to prepare them to drive their own. Once they became adults, your advice once in a while can be helpful, but if they're seeking your advice over their life decisions, you'll take credit or blame for the results, and they won't know what to do when the time comes that you're not around. Be a soft place to fall and encourage them to get back up again when they make what turns out to be a wrong decision. But don't try to talk them out of or prevent them from making those adult choices that will determine the course of their lives. Even though it may seem like helping in the short term, it's damaging in the long term, and there's no going back. That was from Intuition. What section was that? I was curious. Oh, that's Telepathy, Mind Reading, and Influence Over Others, Chapter 8. The links to all these books will be somewhere in the description at some point. All right, forgiveness is the next one. Now, forgiveness is about the past and only the past. Trust is about the present and future. So forgiveness takes place within you. It's for you. And it doesn't have to involve another person at all. Forgiveness is only to cease to feel that resentment and anger. And you do that by setting it down. So, I just opened to this page. We're going to go from here. This is why some things are harder to let go. Think about it physically. If someone accidentally barely bumped into you and immediately apologized, you wouldn't even be mad. You'd have instantly forgiven them. But if someone who didn't like you for no reason came squealing around the corner in their car and drove straight into you on purpose and sent you to the emergency room, that wouldn't be so easy to forgive, and healing would take more time and effort. So here are a few things to consider. Number one, if it was intentional or not. Number two, how much you were hurt. Number three, how long it went on. And one you may not have thought about. Number four, how sensitive or unhealed you were about that previously. Think again on the physical. If someone came up behind you and tapped your shoulder, that wouldn't hurt, right? But if you had a really bad sunburn and someone touched your back, even very lightly, even not realizing you had a sunburn, it would hurt and you would react. So translating that into mental and emotional, or even physical too, in the case of physical abuse, oftentimes only you know what these things are, how much they hurt, how long it went on, and how healed you are at any given time. If someone doesn't know what you're going through, say in the case of a breakup or a divorce from a person who was abusive to you in one or all three ways, they may judge you or tell you that you should just forgive that person when they have no clue what they were talking about. In most abusive relationships, the abuse is hidden from the world, so when the relationship ends, outside people have no idea what happened and thought you were such a great couple. And it's not their business. It's not their right to judge. You don't owe them any explanations. Just a firm, clear, defined boundary. For example, I didn't ask for your advice, thank you. You don't know as much as you think you do, but I don't want to share that with you. That's firm. It's not, they may perceive it as rude, or they may say, oh, I was just trying to help. But it's just a firm boundary. You do not have to justify or explain. And that's the worst time to open up and share. You open up and share things with people who you trust and people who you are seeking out to open up and share with, not in defense of your own life decisions. So, very important. That is from forgiveness. Next up, we have trust. All right. Okay. If someone says one thing and then says or does another or the opposite, there may very well be a logical reason. If you ask and one is provided, it's probably true. But you have to ask. No speculating with friends or creating a drama story in your mind. Just ask. If you do ask and their response is either angry that you're accusing them of something or massively evasive, subject changing, or over explanation with loads of unimportant details, you have reason to be suspicious. It could very well be that they use lying as a mechanism to build an image that they wish others to see. If you question them, you are in effect chipping away at that image, that armor. And the very act of asking a simple question will be perceived as an attack on them. They want you to see what they show you, not the truth. It is hard sometimes, especially if your trust is already in recovery, to discern if you're actually being paranoid and reading into things versus when you're dealing with actual lies. But the answer isn't to shy away from saying anything altogether. Communication is a part of a healthy connection and trust. If you can't communicate, then both trust and the relationship will eventually go down the toilet. That is from trust. Next up, we have appreciation. Ooh, this is good. Let's redefine the word humble, shall we? All right. Humble does not mean to dismiss, diminish, downplay, or deny that who you are or what you did or do is wonderful when it is. That's actually lying. The old school of thought was that if you actually acknowledge that you are good in any way or have done any good work, that means you are full of yourself, conceited, and think you're better than other people. Self-deprecating then became an admirable quality. How bizarre, really. Truly being humble means to acknowledge with gratitude all the gifts, opportunities, and yes, talents that you've been given. To be humble is to be grateful and appreciative. If you are into law of attraction, to dismiss, diminish, or call your own achievements lucky or not important will send out a message that it doesn't matter if they are present or not. They then may flow to someone else who appreciates them more. If a person is only doing good things, only for a reward, that is not the same as doing good things with no reward motive and receiving rewards. Always receive with appreciation. To push away rewards doesn't make you a better person. Once your own cup overflows, you can give more. If your own cup is empty, you can't give nearly as much. There's a false sense of authenticity around refusing to receive rewards. If the praise and monetary rewards for good work aren't received by the person who did the work, who should they go to? Good deeds in themselves are their own rewards, but good work deserves good rewards that are tangible. That is from appreciation. And I think we're going to go to the Happiness in Your Life Answers Within guidebook. This book has one quote per page from each of the 12 books in the series, those 5 that are available now, as well as 7 that are not yet available. So I'm going to flip to this for a message. This is Thoughts and Words. Think for a moment about the meanings of the words encouraging and discouraging. Courage is carrying on regardless of the presence of fear. To encourage someone is to enable them to have the courage to continue in the direction that they are going. To discourage someone is to disable them from having courage. One kind word or one unkind word could be the one thing that kept someone going or the last straw that made them quit. Be aware of this when you choose which words you give to people. And there we are. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. And if you like the live book readings, I'm going to be doing more. And I also have plenty of videos, and we'll have other plentiful more videos coming on different topics in the books as well as not in the books. And I hope that you will subscribe and share and be a part of this community with me. Thank you so much. Bye.